Hi, I'm Scott Ballin. I'm going to do a little piano here, give you an idea of what my style's about. Playing the classic song everyone knows, Stella by Starlight. Scott Ballin here with one of my old-time favorite students, Patrick Hines. You may know that face. And we're going to play one of the great jazz classics, supposed to be famous by Miles Davis, on Green Dolphin Street. Right? So we're talking about comping today, Patrick, and what to do and maybe what not to do sometimes, or to do less of. Because pianists, I've been doing this my whole life, have a tendency to be a little flowery sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially when it's something a free, non-rhythm section type of thing. So we're going to go through the melody alone here. I'll be doing that in the bars. Pat's going to give me some accompaniment.
Sounds good.
On the piano here, right?
Yep.
Give me a nice arpeggio,
Sure.
Patrick, if you would. That was excellent. Beautiful chord voicings, a nice light touch.
Thank you.
And I felt you were really listening to the melody, because it's tricky to do something out of time like that in vibrato.
Yeah.
The only one thing, and again, I'm so guilty of this, as many pianists are, is maybe overplaying a little bit.
Okay,
you want to make it so sweet and flowery and rip these arpeggios up the keyboard almost without thinking about it.
Yeah.
And there's certainly a place for that. But I think when you're with someone else, it has to maybe a little bit less of that.
Okay.
With solo piano, you might want to do that more.
Sure, yeah.
Bill Evans, all the great pianists have done that. So let's take the second half.
Sure.
And maybe just be a little more in terms of comping.
All right.
And I'll try to do some more of the fills, just as a saxophone player would, guitarist, or whoever.
Yeah.
Great.
Sure.
Excellent. So right for the second half here.
All right, sounds good.
Ready to give me arpeggio again, please?
Sure, I'll give you the same one.
Or something similar. Let's get into the second half. Great. very often go to the flat 2 major 7.
Oh, true.
So if you give me that, of course the melody, right, is the root, and it becomes the major 7.
Yeah.
And of course, the scale on that one would be Euclidean scale.
Okay.
Right, we know about that. And the beauty of those scales without the avoid notes.
Yeah.
You can really use our musicality and say how much Lydian do we want to make it, right? If we want to emphasize the major 7, you may
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's go down to the E flat. I'll do a similar line.
Sure.
Based off the major 7. There it is. Right. Excellent. Okay, so that's a little thing for pianists is maybe to do less fills in an ad-lib rubato setting like that, right? And use the flat 2 major 7,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
It could be preceded by the flat 6, as we know, but sometimes, a lot of times, they'll go right to the flat 2, and they don't always resolve. It's not always resolved, but very often.
Yeah.
Did you feel you wanted to go down to the 1 there?
Yeah.
It has a natural,
pull.
as a pull there, right?
Yeah.
And of course, we usually go into a Latin swing arrangement. But for this little section, I think that was great. You know, how much less you played, and I felt more comfortable to do more fills on the vibes.
Yeah, I thought it was
would-
more balanced.
Right. Another player.
Yeah.
Not that you can't do some fills, it's a delicate balance, and every time, that's the beauty of jazz, is that it's going to be different.
Yeah.
It's going to have a different feel to it.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So great job on that.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay. Yeah, we talked about some dominant chords here, and now we can combine different sounds, right? In this particular example, and Patrick will do it, is taking an altered voicing, start with the G7, and look at some fourths to give it a different quality, a little more open quality, up in the treble right-hand zone. Right, so we have our sound here, G7, altered. You know about that? If these fourths really sit nice over here, there we have it. Of course, they can be used in improvisation as well. So here's the first one. Very simply, think of it as the flat 3rd. Let's see what we get here. Let's see, sharp 9, flat 13, all tension notes. Flat 9. Some people like to call it a B flat 7 sus. You could do that. Either way, it's about the intervals and the tension upon tension, if you will. So you look at the G7, you already have the tensions in there. But this gives it a different feel, I think, and you can spread it out that way. Right? So the chords are G7 altered, and we're playing fourths built on the flat 3rd. Right? I would call it flat 3rd in this case, even though if it was here, we would call that a sharp 9. Here's the G7, flat 3rd, and here's the flat 6. So again, chock full of tension notes. Flat 13, flat 9, and the sharp 11. Right? Of course, we can move these around. And the flat 7 as well. Starting on the flat 7. Again, sharp 9, flat 13. So we got a lot to work with here. All from the altered scale as well. It could be lower. But to get that altered sound, we really need the 3rd in there. So for now, we'll have the altered voicing, standard voicing we play here, starting from the flat 7. Right, Patrick? And up here, we'll go to the flat 3rd, or 4th. We can really make it nice and spread it out that way. Jumping up to the flat 7. Way up here, flat 6. All these sounds we have. Right, so let's say we make it a whole note. 2, 3, 4. We can always have our bass note, right? Really explore different ranges of the piano. It's one of the great things about it. To have such a full sound, so many notes. Get that type of sound. Of course, you could have your structured triads, but this gives a little bit different open-ended sound to it. What do you think, Patrick? You want to?
Sure, I'll give it a shot.
Go ahead. Take a look at that voicing and really.
All right, so altered.
Right, we think about a G7 altered. That would be the. Right, there we go. Great.
And what was it, flat 3?
Flat 3. Your 4th voice. Perfect. Great. Of course, you can arpeggiate that. Right, great, excellent. How about flat 6? Same type of thing. You could call flat 13, same thing.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yep.
Great. Excellent.
And we got a flat 7.
And a flat 7. Well, taking multi, right. Could be any inversions involved. Right?
Something like
Great.
that. Yeah.
So we have in mind, would you be able to take that to C7? Because we like to
Yeah,
practice
sure.
these.
Yep.
Cycle force. Great, there's your voicing.
Yep.
This time based on the 3rd, right?
Gonna go up a little higher.
Excellent. That's a nice range for that one. On the E flat. Excellent. Flat 6 could be right there. Excellent. And flat 7. Right. So it could be for your comping voicings, or it's great into your soloing.
Yeah.
Those chords. There you go. So many possibilities there.
Cool.
Right?
Yep.
So I suggest to practice that around the cycle force.
Okay.
With those, which takes a while. You're not going to do it the first time you try it.
Yeah.
But you go through it, 2 or 3 of them, and you get used to the sound of it. And after a while, you start applying it to the songs you're working on.
Okay.
With your group or another solo pieces.
Yeah.
And it really becomes automatic after a while. Gives you a little variety.
Yeah. For sure.
Right? Great. Yeah, Scott Ballin here. Really my secondary instrument, the vibraphone. Well, I've been playing for many years. And the unusual thing I'm going to demonstrate now is the 3 mallet method, I call it. Because, 4 mallets is great. Of course, I love Gary Burton and the others that use it. But I don't know about the practicality of it. And try to include runs with that can be a little difficult. Although you can get many beautiful voicings. I just find it a little bit clumsy, right? And then if we go to the other end of it, would be the 2 mallet. I think it was the Milt Jackson style. Of course, some of the others. It's great for the articulations, right, and the faster lines. So I call this a hybrid method here, where I'm going to have 3 mallets all together, 2 in the left and 1 in the right, where I have a hybrid method in the sense where I can play some chord voicings that sound pretty full. But I feel I can get around with the signal lines much more so than with 4 mallets. And you still have your contrapuntal. Right? And we get these nice full voicings, especially something like this. Voice that we use for a sharp 9. Right? 3 flat 7 sharp 9 down here. Right, or in a higher range, whatever it may be. Or we have our force. Right, we can sustain a note and jump up. That's one of the beauty of the vibes. And F7 is a great one. Right, a little dampening. If you're playing, you want to hear some harmony, the blues or what have you. So to me, it's actually an important part of the vibraphone is the sustain. So there it is, a hybrid 2-in-1 method there to give us some chording and still be able to get around what we want to do for the most part with the single lines.